Memo the cat lived happily with his owner, Mr. James, in a quaint little house by the park. Mr. James often told Memo, "Honesty is the best policy," and Memo listened intently. One day, Mr. James received an urgent call and had to leave for a business trip, leaving Memo alone. Before leaving, Mr. James reminded Memo, "Be good and honest, my friend." As soon as Mr. James left, Memo heard a knock at the door. It was Whiskers, the mischievous cat from the neighborhood. "Let's have some fun," Whiskers suggested, eyes gleaming with mischief. "Mr. James won't know." Memo hesitated but remembered Mr. James's words and shook his head. "I promise to be good." Whiskers rolled his eyes. "Come on, Memo. Just a little adventure." Against his better judgment, Memo followed Whiskers out the door, feeling a mix of excitement and guilt. They wandered into a nearby market, where the delicious smell of fish filled the air. Whiskers eyed a fish stall, and before Memo could stop him, he swiped a fish and ran. "Whiskers, no!" Memo meowed, chasing after him, but Whiskers was too quick. The fishmonger saw Memo and Whiskers and shouted, "Stop, you thieves!" Memo felt his heart race with fear and guilt as they fled the market. Once they were safe, Memo confronted Whiskers, "We shouldn't have done that." "It's wrong." Whiskers laughed, "Who cares? We got free fish." Memo, feeling guilty, decided to return the fish. "I'm going back to make it right." Whiskers scoffed but watched as Memo bravely headed back to the market. Memo approached the fishmonger, the stolen fish in his mouth, and placed it at his feet. "I'm sorry," Memo meowed sincerely. "It was wrong to take this." The fishmonger, surprised by Memo's honesty, petted him and said, "Thank you for being honest, little one." Memo felt a wave of relief and pride wash over him, happy to have done the right thing. As Memo turned to leave, he saw Mr. James returning, having finished his trip early. Mr. James noticed Memo at the market and hurried over, worry etched on his face. "Memo, what are you doing here?" Mr. James asked, picking him up gently. The fishmonger explained everything, praising Memo's honesty and bravery. Mr. James's eyes filled with pride. "That's my Memo. Honesty is truly the best policy." As they walked home, Mr. James gave Memo a special treat, grateful for his integrity. Whiskers, watching from a distance, felt a pang of regret for his actions. He approached Memo and Mr. James, apologizing for leading Memo astray. Mr. James smiled and said, "It's never too late to do the right thing. Join us for dinner, Whiskers." From that day on, Memo and Whiskers became best friends, spreading the message that honesty is the best policy, always and forever.